watched the game yesterday, and of course Chelsea lost. So thinking about it, I said I think this is what I feel Enzo Maresca should do. Enzo Maresca should go back to all that worked during pre-season, and these acclaimed advanced 8 or 2-10s playing behind the striker. He should go back to it. And like I said in the previous video I did yesterday, I said I was willing to give him the benefit of the doubt to say, okay, you're playing CT, you have to come up with a different style, different pattern of play, to sort of curtail them or to make sure at least you can match them up because they're a better team at this time, respect to how they've progressed so far and the stage where two teams are at the minute. So understandably. And then looking at some of his interviews where he has said the style of play for Chelsea is two wingers high and wide, two attacking players behind the striker, and the lone six with a midfielder inverting. So even in a video he did for Coach's Voices, it was the same thing he said. So for me, I think he should go back to that. And going forward to the Soviet game, that's the Conference League game as well. That will be this Thursday on 22nd at Stamford Bridge. I want Chelsea to play in this way. So simply, for me, Philip Jorgensen should be the goalkeeper. Cucurella should be a left back if he's available. If he's not available, then we'll go for Renato Vega. And then in a case where for the centre backs, we'll go with Colwill, we'll go with Tosin Adarabioyo in the Hathaway defense, and then go Malo Gusto at right back, and Romero Lavia in that lone six position. But we all know the whole essence of Enzo Maresca's formation or style of play is to have a left back or right back inverted to midfield. And like we saw in the game versus Man City yesterday, it was essentially Marco Cucurella that was inverting, and he is the inverting king. To my mind, he's the inverting king in terms of fullbacks. So that would give Lavia some cover, in the midfield, so as to defend with four players against the transition. So and then for me, Cole Palmer and Christo Nkunku who play behind the striker. Just close your eyes for a minute and just think. Close your eyes for a minute. Imagine Nkunku Palmer combining. That is pure beauty. Beautiful football. That's what you see, because Palmer, last season didn't have someone to combine with that often, that regularly with the quality of Christopher Nkunku. So we want to see both of them, in behind the striker. And then Madueke and Pedro Neto should be out on the wings, with Madueke being wide on the right and Pedro Neto being wide on the left. And then Maguire, in the 9 position, because for me, I think Nicholas Jackson, I don't know if he's not yet fully fit, but yesterday's performance wasn't the best, and I would more prefer to see Maguire in that position. Now, Madueke and Pedro Neto, wingers that can hold the weight, are very, very important to the way Enzo Maresca wants to play. He doesn't want his fullbacks overlapping all that often, because sometimes you have one inverting or two inverting, and then the width primarily is provided by the two wide wingers. So Madueke, whatever anyone wants to say about him, he holds the width very well. He dribbles very well. He runs at defenders, keeps them occupied. And one thing as well that people forget, he drops back to help out his fullback. And Palmer doesn't do that quite as much. Palmer can press the opposition defense, but running back to, defend, sort of helping the fullback double up against a winger in the defensive third is not so much of his forte. It's more of something that Noni Madueke does. And Pedro Neto, his brief stint yesterday in the game for Man City, we saw what it was all about. We saw his quality, and then the cross he put in that should have been converted but wasn't converted. So you can see his quality. So what we want to do is to go into that game aggressively, with purpose, using the flanks, and really getting a good understanding or a good sort of expression of what Enzo Maresca's football is meant to be, Maresca ball is meant to be. I want to go into that game without fear. Though it's not a preview, but go into that game without fear and play the way we want to play. And then even coming back to the league, I want the same sort of lineup to be what we would see. You say you want to play this way. At Leicester, you play this way, and you didn't have players with the quality you have at Chelsea, with all due respect to Leicester City. So this is what I think Enzo Maresca can do, to ensure that Chelsea doesn't drop off a cliff. Because that's a mistake Mauricio Pochettino made, where he had a style of play he used throughout pre-season. Although to admittedly, the preseason performance under Mauricio Pochettino was way better than Maresca's preseason, but it was the same thing. He had the formation, had a style, had a philosophy that we all saw and were happy with during the preseason. And then the season started. He changed it up to something else and took way too long to adapt the formation. Way too long to get back to the formation and tactical play that we all sort of loved during the preseason at that time. So I don't want Enzo Maresca to waste time experimenting with this Enzo as a 10. It's not going to work. Enzo is a 6. He's a 6. Whatever I want to say, whether it's a mobile 6 or a ball playing 6 or a deep line playmaker, whatever I want to call him, he is a 6. He's not a 10. He's not an 8. So it's not going to work there. So even if against maybe a Saviet you want to play Enzo Fernandez in that lone 6 role, I would rather prefer Romelu Lavia in that spot. But if you would play Enzo Fernandez in that position, then that's fine. I'll kind of understand somehow, because at least you're playing players in their rightful position, and now you don't have to sort of force 3 sixes, 3 defensive midfielders to play in one game. No, so like I said in the previous video, and I mentioned as well, I'm giving the benefit of the doubt, because each time you come up against Man City, you sometimes, because they're the best team in England at the minute, and some might say in Europe, and therefore some might say in the world as well, you try to come up with ways to sort of negate their strengths, come up with ways to get more players on the ball to sort of dominate the midfield and see if you can stifle them that way. So I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. But when you're playing up against teams where you be expected to dominate possession, you expect to be the dominant side, then go all out and let's see what you're all about. Let's see what the team is all about. So Philippe Jorgensen he's good with the ball at his feet. Want to see him play there. So so that's what I think Enzo Maresca should do going into the oncoming games. We've got very winnable games after the Saviet game. So I'm hoping we can get all 12 points, because they're very, very winnable games. And the Saviet game, hopefully we can win as well at home at Stamford Bridge. So at this point, I've come to the end of today's video, and I would like you to subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and click the notification bell as well, so you're notified each time I post a video on the channel. And also subscribe to the channel, like the videos, and have a splendid rest of your day. Bye bye.